In February, East Renfrewshire launched their Healthier Minds documents and website for school staff, professionals and parents to help them support the mental well-being of children and young people. February now seems a long time ago and the world has changed significantly since then. Coronavirus has affected us all, whether directly or indirectly. Children, young people and staff will all bring their own experiences of coronavirus with them when they return back to nursery and school. Most pupils will be eager to return to school and will have protective factors which will have helped them to deal with the impact of lockdown. However, some may require significant emotional support as a result of their experiences and needs. There has been a lot of information out there to help us. The aim of this video is to make things a little bit clearer and to provide advice, strategies and signposting to support mental well-being as we all return to school. The key principles that support recovery are the same as those highlighted in Healthier Minds. They are also consistent with the approaches recommended in the Educational Psychology Service paper. In this short video, we're going to look at what the impact has been locally and remind ourselves of the crucial role we have in supporting children, young people, parents and our colleagues through the next stages of transition and recovery.
It's been hard. I think initially I felt very apprehensive, not being able to hug people or be close to people and even just seeing them face to face.
To begin with, it was quite scary, quite difficult to sort of get your head around being not in school and not seeing the pupils every day and trying to work out ways of keeping lines of communication open to them.
I think one of the biggest challenges for all of us is that lack of sense of routine, where everything changes. And no 2 days ordinarily in education look the same, but it's so far removed from any sense of norm that we were used to.
The coronavirus pandemic is something we've never experienced before, simply in terms of the sheer scale of the impact and the fact that it has affected every one of us. Some of the challenges we have faced have been unique. For those of us working within education, the closure of school buildings, the emergence of online learning, and not having face-to-face contact with pupils and colleagues. This has been a big shift from our ordinary practice. We asked some staff and pupils about their experiences, and this is what they had to say.
Having more time to play on my Xbox and playing games with my friends.
Being able to relax more and be able to be coming to school and working with all different teachers.
Being at home was actually quite nice for a while, being with family and spending time with them.
Staying up late and being to play with my friends online and being to wake up for school in the mornings.
Spending time with family, as well as at home.
It's made me appreciate my teachers and my family a lot more. It's all the stuff that teachers are doing for us and the fun work we get to do. And I feel like I have a lot more free time, so I spend with my family and stuff.
Being able to do your work more freely and being able to do it when you want instead of having a fixed time at parts of the day.
Finding new friends.
I've enjoyed spending time to myself and learning new things, like practicing my art and learning new instruments.
Nothing, because I'm just bored all the time.
As we can see, most people are highly adaptable and have been able to identify many positive aspects of their lockdown experience. Interestingly, most of these positives were about their key relationships. Positivity and a focus on relationships are important characteristics to have during transition and recovery. For all of us, where we were at the beginning of the pandemic may be very different from where we are now, depending on our individual experiences.
Not seeing my family and my friends, and also not getting that last experience of school, as this is my last year of primary school, not really getting that final experience.
And actually, I really enjoy a routine, working with my colleagues, seeing the children.
My family.
Not be able to be going swimming and seeing my friends. Not be going to the park.
My friends and my teachers.
I've missed a lot of the clubs that I've done, I was supposed to be doing a lot of shows and meeting new people, and I never got to do anything because of lockdown.
I miss going on play dates and seeing my friends.
For some, the impact of the pandemic will have been relatively small, yet for others, it may turn out to be life-changing. Health concerns, worries about finances and job security, feelings of loneliness and isolation, stress, loss and bereavement. These challenges may have been a direct result of the pandemic, or possibly magnified by it. The widespread experience of these challenges and the higher visibility of the pressures that people are facing have resulted in our mental well-being being brought into sharp focus.
I think initially I felt very apprehensive about what was going to happen, how things were going to change, obviously concerned for colleagues, family members, their health and safety.
Lockdown hasn't really been that difficult for me. I'm not a very outdoorsy person, and so long as I have some kind of entertainment, I can easily spend a few months in the house. Homeschooling has been fine and relaxing, but it's kind of sad to see the place that you would go to after school turn into school. I don't really like the mixing of the two.
It's just my usual style of life, but with more free time and a later bedtime. Yay!
It's been good because I got rabbits, but bad because we were stuck inside.
When it started, I was pretty stressed with my exams at school. But when we went to lockdown, I felt less stressed.
It's been okay. I definitely miss getting to see my friends and going to restaurants, but I get to talk to my friends via video call.
As we have heard, people have felt a mixture of things during lockdown, both positive and negative. Depending on their individual experiences, people may now be in a very different place from where they were prior to lockdown. For this reason, it may be helpful to consider our well-being continuum. This highlights the fluctuating nature of our mental well-being as we encounter the highs and lows of our life experiences. To help guide your thinking and planning in the coming weeks and months ahead, the Educational Psychology Service have identified evidence-based principles of recovery which should help you. By keeping these in mind, you should be confident that your approach is the right one for everyone involved.
The children and young people's responses can help us to think about ways of applying the 5 principles of recovery in practice. Some of these strategies will be universal and appropriate to use with all children and young people on their return to school and nursery. Other ideas are targeted and will be appropriate to use with children who require further support or planning based on their experiences during lockdown and on their individual needs. The 5 principles are safety, reconnection, self-regulation, individualised responses and resilience. Children, young people and staff all need to feel emotionally and physically safe when they return to the school environment.
Last couple of weeks being back in the school and back in the building has been reassuring because it's quite a different place to when we left. We've put things in place, it's safe, the children who've been in the school and in the hub have been really sensible and switched on and washing their hands and staying their distance apart.
I could see in their demeanour the fact that initially you had some quite worried, anxious little faces, and then they became to grow in their trust and their confidence in you. So I felt seeing that change was a massive boost for them and for their families.
One of the hardest things over the period of lockdown has been the loss of normal routine. Routine is so important for us all. It gives us a sense of safety and security and makes us all feel more in control of our environment. Routine is especially important for some children and young people, for example those with an ASD diagnosis, who require further support to understand what is happening and what is expected of them.
Whilst it's great news that all of their children are coming back together and we're able to foster those relationships, as I mentioned earlier, we still have to remember and be mindful of actually keeping each other safe.
When we return, there will be new routines and behaviours for us all to learn. Remember, it will take time to learn new routines. For example, older pupils will have got used to very different bedtimes. Practice some of these new behaviours such as hand washing or cleaning school equipment so that pupils learn these more quickly. Do a tour so that children and young people know how to get around the new school environment. Use social stories to describe what is expected of children and so that they understand what to do in new situations.
Being able to bring children back full time enables us to come back to much more of a solid and firm routine. And as we all know, our young people really thrive on having that sense of routine and that sense of structure and that sense of knowing where the boundaries are, and that's something we're really looking forward to.
Use the language of safety with children. For example, say things like, "It's our job to make you feel safe." Acknowledge children and young people's fears and give them lots of reassurance. And keep language simple and honest. Avoid giving too much information because you can always provide some more later. Reconnection with each other and restoration of relationships is key to facilitating the transition back to school and nursery. This will help to re-establish a sense of belonging, promote engagement and enjoyment, and will help staff and pupils feel listened to and supported. The principles of listen, talk and connect are explained in Healthier Minds and can be used to help everyone reconnect and feel a sense of belonging.
The first few weeks back for us will very much be in and around that sense of restoring those relationships, reconnecting, allowing children to reconnect with each other, because we know that they've not been able to do that, but also to allow staff and children to reconnect with one another, and I suppose revisit who we are as a school.
Our children and young people and our staff told us about the things that they missed during lockdown.
Missing my friends because I'm not going to see them every day like I used to. And then I've been seeing my teachers now. It's been a bit weird because I'm only used to seeing my friends.
My friends.
Like seeing like my friends every day and like not seeing like the people that I know around me as well.
My friends and my teachers.
I definitely miss getting to see my friends and doing classes in the classroom.
Having regular conversations to check in with pupils and colleagues about their worries and hopes may help in managing expectations. Normalising uncertainty while also recognising and validating the emotions of those around you will mean that people feel listened to. There are also some key do's and don'ts which can help us to communicate even more effectively, whether that is with a child, young person, a parent or with a colleague. A strong culture of support through Reconnection will guard against stress and anxiety during the transition and recovery, helping staff, children and families alike. Strategies to reconnect may include having special places where pupils can go to feel safe, making opportunities for small groups of staff to talk openly and gain support, and taking the opportunity to talk to people, colleagues and children about their experiences of lockdown. Children's readiness to learn will depend upon their levels of anxiety. If these are high, it is much more difficult for them to focus. This is why it's important to build in regular, nurturing, self-regulatory and motivating activities such as relaxation, movement and play. By paying attention to our own self-regulation and establishing a sense of balance, we will be better equipped to deal with the demands of the coming term and to support those around us. Keeping things simple where possible will help, such as establishing a good sleep pattern, making healthy choices around eating and drinking, keeping active and making time for activities that we enjoy and which we find relaxing. By walking the walk in this way, we will feel more authentic and more confident when supporting others to find their balance. Our sense of agency is also important, and while some things will be out of our hands, we need to focus on the things that we can control. There are always personal decisions that we can make, sometimes practical and sometimes related to our thoughts, that can help how we respond to situations. This is incredibly important during times when we face challenges. It guards against feelings of helplessness and underpins our ability to self-regulate. Healthier Minds has dedicated resources to support staff well-being too. Identifying progress and gaps in learning is a crucial aspect of supporting the recovery of children and young people. This needs to be underpinned by a focus on restoring a sense of calm and ensuring that they don't experience too much pressure. By building in calming, relaxing activities through, for example, PE, art and music, you will likely see an increase in pupil engagement and confidence. Healthier Minds identifies some relaxation activities that are suitable for children and young people of all ages. Some of these are suitable for adults too.
For self-regulation, things to remember include building in movement and relaxation activities into the school day, taking time to assess where children are in terms of their learning. They will need to feel calm to learn, and thinking about strategies that help you to feel calm as a practitioner.
How we support a child or young person's transition back to school will vary according to their individual needs. This means taking account of their stage of development, their specific circumstances and experiences during lockdown, and any additional support needs that they may have. For children and young people with additional support needs, close collaboration around assessment and planning may be needed to facilitate a successful return to school. This will involve an in-depth understanding of their needs and the use of appropriate teaching and learning strategies. It will also be beneficial to think about why some children and young people have found the environment in lockdown easier. This information can help us to plan and differentiate experiences to make school more manageable for them going forward. Remember, you'll have to have a good understanding of a child or young person's individual experiences to know what may work for them on the return to nursery or school. For children with ASN, liaise with their parents and professionals. Some children or young people may need a lot of additional strategies or a phased return to the new environment to manage coming back. Use strategies that are based on a knowledge of this child's individual needs.
We asked people what might make things easier on the return to school, and as you will see, most of these things are fairly simple and straightforward to achieve.
Probably the fact that you've got like a teacher there to guide you as you're learning, because it's not as easy just to have a teacher type stuff and put it on a Google Classroom. It's more clear and it's easier to focus when you're in class or in school because you don't have as many distractions around you.
Getting to know what is different from the last time we were at school.
Maybe not starting school straight away, maybe easing back into the times rather than just starting straight away, here you go back now, nothing else.
Maybe a bit of support from the older children in the high school.
Having more pupils and teachers in the classroom.
Our focus initially for the teachers and the pupils is just looking out for each other and checking in that everyone's okay. We've got a sort of phased approach, a restore curriculum coming back in, where we're going to just engage the pupils, talk about our experiences while we've not been here, reassure them that this is a safe place to be. We'll also have pupils who have had different experiences, so being open with each other, talking to each other.
How a child manages will depend upon the support around them and the coping strategies they have already learned and developed in response to different situations. Our resilience can be thought of as our ability to navigate our way through life's challenges. We do this by tapping into resources that nudge us in the right direction. Different resources will suit different people. Activities that are relaxing and enjoyable are particularly helpful in redressing the balance during challenging times. For some, these activities may involve connection with other people. For others, it may be about taking time out for themselves. Most people have the resilience and the personal strengths required to overcome the challenges of lockdown and the return to school. For many, Reconnection will have begun some weeks ago, as the easing of restrictions has allowed a sense of normality to return. For many, the likelihood is that the return to school will be like getting back on a bike again. A few wobbles, possibly the odd small bump, but most people will find their balance within the first few weeks.
I'm going into high school after summer and it's quite exciting because I get to meet new friends and it's a new school. But I'm also quite nervous because it's really big and maybe quite hard to find my way about.
I'm pretty nervous and pretty excited about it too. Because even though we are going back to school, but it's not properly. I'm just wondering how everything will work.
A bit nervous, quite excited at the same time.
I like it being going back to normal, but I'll probably also miss having this much free time.
Slight anxiety about just getting everyone in the first day, making sure that the pupils get to their new classroom, meet the new teacher, things that we maybe have not been able to do quite to the full extent being online.
Nervous. Actually, I'm really happy to be seeing my new classmates and to see my new teacher. I feel great about it.
We all need to tend to our depths of resilience, and one of the most effective ways to achieve that is to foster a mentality of realistic optimism. To do this, we need to pay attention to our thoughts, feelings and behaviours. By placing more emphasis on thoughts which remind us of the temporary, specific nature and controllable aspects of what is happening through the recovery, we will become more resilient to the challenges we face. When stressful events happen, we don't always think in the most balanced way. This can mean we pay too much attention to thoughts that are unhelpful to us. When we do this, we experience feelings of low mood and anxiety. These can impact on how we behave, and this can become a vicious circle. More information on managing our thoughts, feelings and behaviours is available on the Healthier Minds website. We also took the time to ask our children and young people and our staff what they think that they might need during the transition and recovery.
School guidance as to knowing that you're doing the right thing for the children. At home, I would probably just say the ability to talk to people, being able to talk to your colleagues about, things that you are not sure about.
You might need help from other teachers or other students from the school to help you know your way around, and so you don't get lost, and to make sure you're okay.
There will be times when we are reliant on each other for support, particularly in the early weeks. One key concept to keep in mind is the idea of psychological containment. This is about our capacity to manage our negative thoughts and feelings appropriately. Talking to others about our thoughts and feelings is incredibly helpful. It can help us to regulate our emotional experience at times of worry. You can help others by offering them a listening ear and following some helpful tips to sharpen up your effective communication skills. By stopping what you're doing and paying attention, your natural active listening skills will kick in, and this will reduce the risk of accidentally minimising or generalising a person's thoughts and feelings. Striking a balance between being empathic, demonstrating the ability to relate, and ensuring that the other person feels heard is key. Some will have experienced significant trauma, loss and bereavement during this time. Again, there are specific resources available on the Healthier Minds website to support you in your initial work with children, young people and families who require support for these reasons. If you're worried about a particular child or young person, then you can raise a wellbeing concern with your line manager to initiate an assessment to see if they require targeted or intensive support from others.
The return to school and to the new normal will be a bumpy ride after what has been a challenging time for us all. The Healthier Minds document and resources provides advice, strategies and signposting to enable us to support the mental wellbeing of our children, young people and each other. As school and nursery communities, we possess the skills and resilience factors to manage the transition back and to support each other along the way. So, as we return to school, there is lots to be hopeful about and lots to look forward to.
I'm looking forward to going to a new school, to meeting new people and learning new things from different classes that I've never done.
To seeing my friends again and going on new school trips and having a new classroom and a new teacher.
I'm really looking forward to the building having all the pupils in it again. It's quite a quiet place without them, and it's a very different job being a teacher when there's no pupils here in the building. I think all the teachers in the school love teaching and interacting with young people, and that's very different through the Google Classroom.
I'm looking forward to be able to go to school with different skills and be able to get meet new friends and new teachers and have a change of surroundings and stuff.
I'm probably going back to normal routine, meeting some of my friends who I haven't been able to see over lockdown, and doing some of the classes and meeting most of my favourite teachers.
Seeing my friends again.
Getting to go to the classroom to do the actual classes in the classroom, and getting my guitar lessons face to face.
Seeing my friends again in all the different classes.
I'm mainly looking forward to seeing my friends again and being able to see my teachers and when they're able to help you with your work, and that will make it a lot easier.
Going into P3.
It's actually having the children back in school, because working in a school, whether it's providing that hub provision or not, working in a school without half of your or most of your school, you actually doesn't make it a school, it's just a building then. So really looking forward to our school becoming a school again. The other thing that I'm really looking forward to is having my staff team back together. We've done lots of stuff over lockdown in terms of kind of keeping those relationships going, but that nothing can replace in my mind that ability to interact socially with one another, even if it is just passing in the corridor, so actually physically having the team back together.